Gurur-Brahma, Gurur-Vishnu, Gurur-Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Let's switch this on. Is the light on at the back?
The green light is on.
Okay, so here we have the 20th verse. We have seen with the first boon, he got peace and joy for his father. With the second boon, he got what do you call the secret of the fire sacrifice, which the society can be benefited, and the third boon now, yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye astityeke nayamastiti chaike etad vidyamanushishtastvayaham varanamesha varastrutiyaha. He says to the teacher, the Lord Death, there is the doubt. When a man is dead, some say he exists and some again say he does not exist. That means after death, some say the soul exists and some say the soul doesn't exist. This I would like to know. This I would like to know, being taught by thee. This is the third boon that I ask. Now from here the actual Upanishad begins. Till now it was just the story part, but it was necessary part in order to prepare the mind, and we have seen how we must, by watching Nachiketa, we have to see, are we behaving in this manner in the world where we are caring for the elders, we are caring for the society. Only such a person is then selected by the grace to know itself. So in this way, he says that, a person in this world normally is seen only wanting, how can I do good to myself? It's a selfish world, isn't it? When you look around, when you look at yourself also, everything we think about is first our comfort, first our hunger, first our respect, first that person did not respect me. And did you give respect? So first we must do kalyan. Kalyan means good for the elders, then the society, and then lastly, now Nachiketa is thinking about himself. Because he wants to know. Till now he did not say, no, first tell me what is, or tell me about me, the self that I am thinking, who is this soul? Then afterwards, if there is some boon left, then you give me, you give joy and happiness to my father. First, it's about me. And you can see the difference, how the society has changed. And in this way, the proper Upanishad starts, and with this, we see that this death is an idea which mesmerizes, which intrigues, and nobody knows what is death, why the death comes, how the death comes, and it's a mystery, isn't it? And this Nachiketa is standing in front of the Lord Death. What better question than find out all the secrets of it? Some schools of philosophies, they believe that that at the end of the death, the soul, when the body dies, there is nothing after that. And some say that there is life after death also. Which one is true? Is there life after death, or is there nothing after death? We will think, we will contemplate. But before we go ahead, according to the nihilist philosophy, there is nothing, there is non-existence after death. Nihilist philosophy, when we talk about it, it is the philosophy which is practiced by the I won't say. And they believe there is nothing. So, when they say there is nothing, how do they know there is nothing? How do they know there is nothing?
Well, they come back to tell us.
And then, how can from nothing something can be born? How nothing can become the source of everything that we see? So we do not accept that. We say, what is that principle which is aware of that nothing also? Nothing is a state, no doubt, but that is not the ultimate. So here what happened? What happened?
Well, we suddenly realised that if something can be aware of nothing, then it must be separate from the nothing, therefore it can't be nothing in that sense.
True. That's good conclusion. Good conclusion. But such type of questions, whether there is something or there is nothing, cannot be answered. Book can say something. But we must, the confirmation is given by great masters. And those great masters who have lived, who have realized, who have known that which knows the nothing, that becomes our proof, and that is the way we solve this riddle. And here is a great master who is standing in front of our Nachiketa, and Nachiketa is asking this question to him. What is the philosophy of materialists? See that there is a philosophy of materialists, there is a philosophy of nihilists, which is philosophy of nothingness. Materialists believe that body, breath, all the parts of the body and the breath came together, and as a result, when all these equipments came together, the body came together, the soul, the life came into it. And when this body breaks down, the life also goes. And that's all there is to it. So, make merry, enjoy while this whole thing is staying together, and when it starts breaking down, okay. quickly enjoy. Drink as much as you can, eat as much as you can, enjoy as much as you can. Why? Who knows what is after death? I will not be there after death. That's the materialistic philosophy's conclusion. That life manifests when the different parts of the body come together. Then, and I told you about the non-existence, but our experience also shows, even though we may not have analyzed it, that even when there is nothing, even every night we have nothing, still that nothing gives way to something called dream and waking, isn't it? So who is this knower who knows something and who knows nothing? That undecaying principle, that unchanging principle, that eternal principle, that all-knowing principle is the goal that our Nachiketa indirectly from the back door entry he is trying to ask. It's not back door also, but he could have asked, say, what is the soul? No, he's saying, what is that? When some people say it dies, some people say it doesn't die. So to that, our Lord of Death answers, Devairatrapi vichikitsitam pura nahi suvignyeyam anuresha dharmaha anyam varam nachiketo vrinishva mamoparotsirati masrujainam. On this point, the Lord says, on this point even the gods have doubted in olden times. Verily the subject is very subtle. It is not easy to understand, O Nachiketa. Choose another boon. Do not press me on this. Give this up for me. What sort of a teacher is this? It's like going to Lalita and saying, can you teach me the recipe of this lasagna? Ask me a recipe of a soup, but don't ask me a recipe of lasagna. Right? If I wanted recipe of soup, I would ask recipe of soup. I want recipe of lasagna. So, here a game is going on now. To check whether the student is up to the mark to know the answer to the question that he has asked. Has the student asked the question after reading from the books? Like I told you yesterday, one person came, listened to some lecture and then comes and argues. So, is it just a bookish knowledge? He has heard it from somewhere. That's a very intelligent looking question. I should keep it in my, database. And whenever if any teacher comes, I will just pop it out and put it and let that fellow speak. People. He's asking such an important question, because any teacher who hears that question will say, oh wow, very good question, very good question. And others will say, alright, the teacher said it's a good question. So this fellow is really evolved, to ask this type of question. See the psychology behind it. So is it for that purpose this Nachiketa has asked the question by reading it somewhere or listening about it somewhere? Or is it his own personal direct inquiry which has led to this question? See? Is that question troubling you all the time? Whether there is life after death or there is no life after death. If it is not troubling you, and what meal is going to be the next meal, what is the menu for the next meal, if that is the more preoccupation of your mind, or we got such a nice place this is, and another 5 days are still to go, but one day this will also come to an end, and such nice topic we are discussing, but all this shows the attention is on the environment and attention is not on what happens after death. It is not a qualification. If you see some people, when they are about to die, they want to finish all the, what do you call, unfinished businesses, isn't it? They remember, I did something wrong there, I should did this, I must make peace here, I must make peace there, I don't want anything, and they just, whole thing changes. Are you behaving as if your death has come to you? Because it can come any time. Then we are not of the caliber of Nachiketa yet. So the Lord Death in this verse is testing his disciple, and is it he wants to know whether this is just a passing doubt passing through the mind of Nachiketa, or is it a genuine inquiry that Nachiketa has presented to him. Even though the knowledge of this, what we are talking, that undecaying, eternal, all-knowing, conscious principle that the knower is, which is other than the nothingness, that is other than the body, that is other than the mind, that knowledge of that principle, eternal principle, it is the right of everyone to know. That is why human beings are born. Their birthright is to know that. Nobody is, the teacher, if asked that question, will not try to run away. Because Lord Death knows what that is. But he wants to find out whether this fellow is capable to handle the answer that he is going to present. And as a result, Lord Death is trying to examine our Nachiketa, and he says that what question that you have asked, even the gods have doubted. Even gods do not know whether there is life after death or there is no life after death. They are also in doubt. Why gods have doubted? One way you can say, gods who live in the higher realms of existences called heaven, they are there, see, consciousness identified to a body in the mortal plane expresses predominantly as the doer on this earthly plane. Consciousness identified to the subtle body in the heavens predominantly expresses as the enjoyer. Enjoyer of peace, enjoyer of bliss, enjoyer of desires being fulfilled one after the other. Where is the time for that fellow who has decided to be in the heaven to think about such subtle truth as to what is life after death? He is busy enjoying. He should get a break from enjoyment, then he might think. But you decide to go to heaven, once you go into heaven, you want to enjoy. There is no end to it. Forget about, on the mortal plane there is chance. Another way to look at it is, Devas means those who are effulgent, those who are bright, those who have expanded consciousness, those who are effulgent. Even such people, knowledgeable people, well-read people, great meditators, even they have doubt about whether there is life after death or there is no life after death, and having so that even gods have this doubt. So please, you ask me another question, and and he even says, for my sake, you ask me another question. Sometimes in our normal relationships, for my sake, can you do this? Someone will do that, and afterwards realize that it was a case of corruption, and now he is caught up in that. But first you build up nice relationship. So not like that. And here, when the answer to this question is received by a man who is absolutely, he has not overheard the answer, but he has reached, first we have already seen, he has renounced, he has done, taken care of the parents, taken care of the society, and come to recognize that there is nothing in this world that can attract him. And with that attitude of sannyasa, he comes across a teacher and he puts the question, is there life after death or not? And when the teacher answers with regards to the soul, whether it is there or not, what is that truth that is after the death, it will make that individual seeker into a godman. Because knowledge takes place only when you are listening. The moment teacher answers, and the student who has been single-pointedly thinking about it and is waiting to grasp the import of the words which will come as answers, immediately listening to that and contemplating on that or realizing that, that same person will become a God person on living on earth. This is what we call a saint or a sage even today. But if a person is not integrated enough, if a person is not synchronized within, if the person doesn't have the acumen to recognize and understand the meaning of what is going to be told, it can lead such a person into wrong direction. Information can be used for good purposes or bad purposes, isn't it? And you might have come across people somewhere in your life also, I have, who say, I am Brahman, and they behave like that. I am Brahman, I am reality. This joker who says I am reality, and his wife also says that I am a reality. Acha, so reality got married to reality, is it? So reality is complete. No food will be given to you from today onwards. We are in a camp in Nepal. About 150 people, all people from all different countries had come. This is in 2000. And these two, they are going around as if they are realized, walking around the whole group. And anyone ask anything? I am Brahman. You may have doubt, I don't. Brahman, is it outside? You'll ask, no. Is it inside? No, I am. I have no doubt about it. I am very clear. And it became now when the topic also, similar topic was going on, half of the people were confused how to respond to these fellows. So they went and spoke to Swamiji. Swamiji, this is what is going on. These fellows are saying like this. But even after 1 year I met them, they had not given up that state of mind. So it can, if unprepared mind takes this information, it can take you into a different direction and you will get stuck there. So the Lord Death is making sure that this fellow is capable of receiving this information, this knowledge. Just like a knife in the hand of a child can be dangerous. He can cut. Matchbox in the hand of a child is dangerous. You can use the matchbox to light gas and cook. But if the child does not know what is the purpose of that matchbox, fire, very fascinating. So, continuing in the 22nd verse, the Lord says, Devairatrapi vichikitsitam kila Tvam cha mrityo yanna suvigneyamatha Vakta chasya tvadruganyo na labhyo Nanyo varastulya etasya kaschita. Thou sayest, O death, Nachiketa is saying, that you are saying, O Lord of Death, that even the gods have doubts here and that this is not so easy to know. None other teacher like thee who can tell of this can be found. No other boon can at all equal this. This fellow is single pointed. He says, I am standing in front of you and your name is Lord Death, Yamaraj. And I am asking a question that what is after death? And you are telling me that even gods are confused about it. Educated people are confused about it. Then who can be a better person than death itself who can answer this question? I want to know the answer of this question. He sticks to his guns. And when the teacher sees this, see what he says. Shatayusha putra pautran vrinishva bahun pashun hasti hiranyam ashwan bhumer mahadayatanam vrinishva swayam cha jiva sharado yavadicchasi. When the Lord Death hears this from this young boy of 9 years, that who else better than you can answer that question? Suddenly he tries to distract his mind. He says, choose sons and grandsons who may live 100 years, herds of cattle, elephants, gold and horses. Choose a vast territory on earth. Live yourself as many autumn years as you like. He offers him. See how much he has offered. Every human being, every parent wants to die before the children die. It's such a painful affair when the children die before we die. I told you one example of this Nepalese lady, which Anuhanji told me. She is 97 years old. Her children have passed away, her grandchildren have passed away, and when Swamiji met her, she said, Swamiji, I eat smoke, I smoke marijuana, I eat meat, but I try everything to destroy my body, but I don't even get any disease. I am not dying and everyone is dying around me. And when will death come to me? Her question was this. Pathetic state. So here the Lord is blessing our Nachiketa that you will have sons and grandsons who all may live 100 years. I guarantee. And you will have lots of cattle. Wealth was cattle that time. Elephants, gold and horses. And you will be an emperor on the earth. You will be a ruler of a huge area on the earth. And you will live as many autumn years. Means you will also have a very, very long life. A healthy life. And as you like it. So having, when the teacher gives this type of thing, what do we see out of this? Why is he doing this to Nachiketa? Is he trying to break his spirit of inquiry into the truth? Is that what he is trying to get to? No, it is not that. He is not trying to break his spirit. He is trying to check. Is he trying to distract him? Is he trying to distract him? No. Then what is he trying to do? He is checking him. He is checking out whether he is worthy of knowing that knowledge or not. Because Brahma Jnana, the knowledge of the self, is to be given to only the worthy ones. So, until and unless a seeker of truth has not overcome the enchantments of the world, the desires for the world, how can he think about the truth and realize it? So he is offering him all these things to see whether he takes them, whether he gets distracted, whether there is a little bit of desire somewhere within his bosom for all this, to be an emperor of the world, to have the gold, the chariots, the horses, the cattle and the children. If there is, he would say yes, and he has already said that ask some other boon, I will give you. So he is offering him. So no, it is not for that. In this process, the process that we are going through now, the words of the Lord of Death, it is a process of checking, step by step, by the teacher, whether the student is up to the mark or not. So, but Nachiketa, even though offered, he says, Nachiketa says, when he is offered this boon, that I will give you all this, etat tulyam yadimanyase varam vrunishva vittam chirajivikam cha mahabhumau nachiketastvamedhi kamanam tva kamabhajam karomi. Ask for some other boon equal to this, if thou thinkest fit, such as wealth and longevity. Be king of the wide earth, O Nachiketa, I shall make thee the enjoyer of all thy desires. So he is looking at Nachiketa. See, in the second verse, second line, first he offered the cattle, the family and everything. Now again he is saying, I will make you the emperor of the earth. I will give you wealth. It will not be a drab, long life. It will be a wealthy, with all enjoyments around, and healthy long life. And I will make you enjoy all the desires even while on earth. And while he is asking, he is looking. He is looking. That how does this fellow respond? How does this fellow respond? Is there a flicker of, what do you call it? Is there something still inside him which might be lured by this? Is there a hint of happiness expressing on his face that the Lord of Death has given to him? Or is there utter disgust for all this? That's what he is checking. And not he, any teacher will check. So, is he still stuck to his purpose of knowing the truth, or is there a hint of wavering mind that I can see here? So the teacher is waiting, and but the Lord becomes so happy when he sees that this fellow is not at all giving any heed to what he is offering. He is just sitting there totally neras. Neras means without any longing for the emperorship of the whole entire earth. With all the wealth and good life, he does not want it. He says, my God. And the Lord sees the disinterestedness in his face, and he offers the, and he does not see any enthusiasm in Nachiketa to grasp what he has offered him. So, Nachiketa's simple question is there an existence after death? Answer can be very simple. Yes or no. But just saying yes or no, instead of giving an answer, the Lord Death has offered so much at the feet of Nachiketa. And this Nachiketa has refused it. So who is successful here? Is Nachiketa successful or the Lord successful? Nachiketa is successful in defeating the Lord of Death, who is trying to not answer the question by remaining quiet, by remaining disinterested in everything that is being offered to him. So here it goes in the 25th verse. Ye ye kama durlabha martya loke sarvan kama chandata parthayasva ima rama saradha saturya nahi drusha lambhaniya manushye hi abhirmat pratabhi paricharayasva nachiketo maranam manuprakshi. He says, whatever desires are difficult to attain in this world of mortals, you ask for them all according to thy wish. So first it was family, children, grandchildren, cattle, vast territory. In the second lure was emperorship of the whole earth with wealth to enjoy and where was that? Wealth to enjoy and he says, I will make you the enjoyer of all your desires. And now in the third verse, he continues in the same offering mood. He says, whatever desires are difficult to attain in this world of human beings, the mortals, you ask from them all according to your wish. And what are the majority of the people? He is only 9-year-old, he will become a teenager, he will become a youth. So he says, these fair maidens means angels, the apsaras, the effulgent apsaras who remain young throughout their life. He says, these fair maidens with their chariots and musical instruments, such indeed are not enjoyable by mortals. You be attended on by them. I will give them to you, O Nachiketa, but do not question about the state of the soul after death. So, when he is offering eternally youthful maidens who are ready to please every whim and fancy of his, he is checking, is there still a desire for, because the desire for opposite sex is very difficult to drop. So he is checking, okay, maybe he doesn't want wealth, he doesn't want lordship, he doesn't want to satisfy other desires. Maybe about the opposite sex. Even one single desire is there in our subconscious mind with regards to enjoyment in the world, whichever enjoyment it may be. It is enough to disqualify us from knowing the truth. Your mind must be totally absorbed in wanting to know the truth and nothing else. Desiring the truth and nothing else. So, here the Lord is again checking it out, whether this fellow is up to the mark or not. Shvobhava martyasya yadanta kaitata sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha api sarvam jivitamalpameva tavaiva vahastava nritya gite. Now Nachiketa is answering back to the Lord of Death. See, only when the guitar string is tight at a proper tension, then the music comes out, isn't it? If the string is loose, it has to be the right. If it is too tight, it might break when you play with it. If it is too loose, the sound, unwanted sound will come out. At the right tension, the music comes out. So, is our body, mind and intellect, body, breath, mind, intellect, this is the string. Is it at the right tension of alertness? Is the body alert or is it, you speak, you are listening. Is the breath, is it going too much fast or is it calm and quiet? Is the mind poised, expectant, desirous to know what is beyond death? Or you put this instrument, the right tension at the physical, mental and psychological, intellectual apparatus that we are, it is required to achieve anything, isn't it, in life? Only then the right performance will come out of it. The ability, the music will flow from it. So, having listened to all this, we see that our Nachiketa is now, we'll see in this next verse, that he has tuned himself perfectly well with the goal that he set for himself, the third goal, what is after death. He says that all that you have offered to me are ephemeral. O death, these tend to decay, the fire, vigor of all senses in man. Even the longest life is indeed short. Let thine alone be the chariots, the dance and the music. He says, whatever you have offered, the music, the dance, the girls, the elephants, the cattle, everything, and the lordship over the planet Earth, all the enjoyment, he says, let them be yours. I am not interested in them. Why? Because everything that you have offered is subject to decay. That which is born must decay and die. So even the lordship that you are giving me, one day that lordship will end and I will have to face my death. Even the wealth that you have given me, till the end of time it will be there. But then when it ends, then what? So he says, even if you give me the longest life to rule this planet, to rule this earth, it is not that what I want. See, if the enjoyment was in the objects of the world, now all this that he has offered to Nachiketa is objects, isn't it? Everything is an object, including the enjoyments. So, if enjoyment was in the objects, then we would be happy right now. How? She is drinking water. That's an object. Why? She was thirsty. So she drank water, quenched her thirst, became happy. Oh, I am happy because I drank water. Keep drinking water. It should give you happy or make you happy all the time. But after she finishes that one bottle, give her second bottle, slowly the enthusiasm to drink water is becoming less. Give her one more bottle. Slowly she starts feeling bloated. I'm full. Huh? So that thing which any object or thing, time, place or object, initially makes you happy, but when you continue to devour it, eventually it brings pain. That is the rule in this world. I want a car, I become happy, I desire it, eventually I acquire it, I become happy. Then afterwards, something goes wrong, I spend a lot of money repairing it. Then I realize I shouldn't have bought a 8-cylinder car, I should have bought a 4-cylinder car. It drinks a lot of petrol. Then all the time, because I spent so much money in buying that car, I am always worried, has someone crashed the car while passing by? It becomes a source of pain. Another way, you buy a car, you become happy, then the next thing, now which car I am going to buy? Just after a few months of enjoying the car, you never had a car, you enjoy the car. Now which is the next one? I have to move up the ladder. Where will it end? It ends with what Nachiketa has been offered by the Lord of Death. But that also, which seems to be a long period and lots of enjoyment, they will also come to an end because they are an objective experience. Objective experience begins in time and must end in time, isn't it? So death will come. So this smart young fellow, he says, whatever you have offered, please you keep it for yourself. I am only interested in knowing that whether there is life after death or not. And when he saw the disgust on the face of Nachiketa and that disgust expressed as rejection of all the offerings that he had made to Nachiketa, the Lord of Death, the teacher, any teacher, not only death, any teacher will become very happy seeing that trait in his student, in his disciple. That this fellow means business. He's not going to just let me go off that easy. And to such a brilliant student who had a integrated personality, the teacher, the Lord Death, says, oh no, not, he doesn't say not here, he will say afterwards. So here the Lord must have been happy to see all this, and only a person who has disgust for the entire world can alone become capable of knowing the truth. Na vittena tarpaniyo manushyo lapsyamahe vittamadrakshma chetva jivishyamo yavadhishishyasi tvam varastu me varaniya saeva. Man is not to be satisfied with wealth. It is true that man is not satisfied with wealth. Now that we have seen you, we shall surely get wealth. See the smart fellow. Very smart. He says, now that we have seen you, we will surely get wealth. We shall also live as long as you rule. Therefore, that boon alone is fit to be craved for by me. Which boon? What is there after death? But in that one sentence, that I want to know that original request that I made, that what is there after death, he has even answered to the Lord of all the offerings. He says, now that I am standing in front of you, do you think If we go and stand in front of the Prime Minister, if my father is the Prime Minister, huh? The power, I am not the Prime Minister, but automatically all the services that the Prime Minister is getting, I can also accrue, isn't it? The chauffeured car is there, the security is there, the free passes to every ball is there. Huh? Wherever the king goes, the Prime Minister goes, he invites, I also go, Dad, I also want to come. Okay, come. 9 course, 12 course dinner, meeting all the presidents, meeting all the Prime Ministers, having a VIP status wherever I go. I got no position, but I am a VIP, very important person. Why? Because I am a son of a Prime Minister. So also is true when you are a disciple of a great teacher. When you say that I am a devotee of Baba, the moment you say I am a devotee of Baba, people expect you to behave in a particular way, isn't it? Yeah? If you say you are a devotee of this teacher or that teacher, and if they know who that teacher is, then immediately an expectation comes. Oh, hey, he must be, he comes from Ramakrishna mission, he comes from Chinmay mission, he comes from Puttaparthi, you studied in Puttaparthi for your education. Oh my God. And you expect that the basics are very clear, isn't it? And that fellow will not wrongly interact with life. So here this fellow is saying, oh Lord of Death, you are great, you are the greatest teacher, you have already offered and I have rejected, but I want to know what I asked, and whatever I have rejected, that is mine anyway, because after having come in your contact, how can it not be mine? Your glory will become less. See, your glory will become less if I go back without any of these. Smart fellow. Can you go near fire and come back cold? Can you? No. Lord Death is he who can bestow everything upon you. So when you have gone into his presence, can you come back empty-handed? You don't have to do anything. Why waste I don't want to waste my boon in wanting all these things that you have just offered. Any person who comes in your presence automatically gets all this. So why should I waste my boon? This point is very, very important. I gave you the example of that boy living at our house. He judged when the taxi driver said, "Don't you know who I am?" God. Today any wish of yours will come true. It is that day in your life. And for the rest of his life he will repent. It's good that if he forgets, but that will make him Godwards now. More faith that God does appear. And it's not how I want him to appear. He will take any form, any shape, any manner he can appear in our life. But are we ready for him? So, here in this verse, the student Nachiketa says that no man can be happy by wealth only, and having gained all the wealth, man can enjoy and enjoy that wealth only till a time that he is not dead. Till then he can enjoy that wealth. And having met you, thirdly, having met you, O Lord of Death, how can anyone go back poor without all these blessings? It is but natural that everything is everything that you just offered will be given to that person. And therefore here it is based on this previous argument, Nachiketa informs his teacher that whatever boon that he asked for, that alone he wants to know and nothing else. Ajiryatam amrutanamupetya jiryan martya kvadhastha prajanan avidhyayan varnarati pramodan ati dirghe jivite korameta. What decaying mortals living in the world below and possessed of knowledge, after having approached the company of the undecaying and the immortal, will rejoice in the long life after he has pondered over the nature of the pleasures produced by song and sport, beauty and love. This Nachiketa is saying that after having lived a good life, studied, gained the knowledge, and having approached a teacher who is immortal and undying. Death doesn't die. Others die, but Lord Death never dies. He is immortal. Or any other master, realized master. When you approach, what will you ask that person? Will you ask, please give me long life, please give me a child, please give me some wealth, Swamiji, please bless my... These pathetic examples are always available. Swamiji, can you please touch me here, then my pain will go away. Swamiji, can you bless my daughter? She doesn't have a child, and if you say, things always come true. Can you please bless? This is pathetic. Wanting a long life. Swami Chinmayananji was there, one of the trustees of Chinmaya Mission, one organization. He came and he held on to his feet early in the morning. Swamiji had just come out of meditation and he held on to his feet. And he wouldn't leave, and he wouldn't leave, and he wouldn't leave, and he wouldn't leave. For 10-15 minutes he did not. And he tried to move him, but he didn't go. He said, okay, whatever you are asking, you will get it. What he wanted, the trustee, he said he had cancer and he was about to, the prognosis was that he would die very soon. He says, please give me another 10 years, I want to enjoy my grandchildren. This was the request. If he had asked for liberation, he would have got it at that time. But he asked, give me 10 years. So what did Swami Chinmayananda do? He says, okay. He gave 10 years of his life to that trustee. Otherwise, Swami Chinmayananda would have lived for 83 years. He passed away, he left his body at 73. So, what are the quality of questions that we must ask when we approach a realized master? This is also being taught here. It should be out of your personal inquiry. Buddha was standing and he was giving darshan. People were coming one after the other. So one person came. Is there God? O Buddha, they say that you have answers to everything. Is there God? He looked at him. Yes, there is God. And his right hand man, Angulimal, a great disciple, he was standing just next to him. Angulimal was a dacoit, he was a murderer. He used to murder people and cut their fingers and make it into a garland. That's why he got Angulimal. Anguli means finger, Mal means a garland. And he had made a comment, I will kill 1,000 people and put 1,000 fingers around. Why? The world had treated him badly. So in that frustration and anger, this was the commitment he had made to himself. And when he was about to make the 1,000th one or the 100th one, Buddha came into his life. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. And he said, what is this? And he said, why are you doing all this? And he showed to him that there is a better way, that there is much more to life than just killing and collecting fingers. In his presence, he converted, because the cave in which he used to live, that after that negative energy, nothing was growing in that, around that cave. But the moment Buddha came to him, he says, look. And he looked around. In front of his eyes, all the dead trees became living again. And within 5 minutes, all the trees started giving fruits also and flowers also. And immediately he fell down at his feet and he wanted, please make me your disciple, and became a great disciple. He was standing behind Buddha while he was answering. Is there God? Yes, there is God. Thank you, Buddha. Now you have told me that there is God. Now I am at peace. He went away. Next person came. Is there God, O Buddha? He said, no, there is no God. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. He went away. They both were satisfied with the answer of Buddha. This fellow was confused. How can one, you are a hypocrite, Buddha. For one person you said there is God, another person you said there is no God. What is the truth? He says, why are you worried? Is it your question? Why you are taking the answers given to other people to their question and internalizing and thinking, is it your question? And this is what we majority of the time do. Swamiji, you don't understand what she is trying to say. I will explain it. Isn't it? This is what, and even if that person has not asked you to be the spokesperson for himself or herself, you take on the position. I think what she is trying to say is this. Who asked you? What are you thinking you are not sure of, but you are sure of what others are thinking, is it? This is the joke. And the moment because it was not his inquiry, Angulimal's inquiry, he did not answer. Then he was suffering for some time from this question. And in the end he asked, after some time, why did you take that answer? That was for him. Similarly, when we approach great masters, when we approach a teacher, we must ask a question that is emerging in our bosom from our inquiry into our own life, not other people's life. Then the answer that comes will make an impact on you straight there and then. But if you ask a general question about something that you have observed somewhere, nothing will happen. So, our Nachiketa here says, after having approached the company of the undecaying and the immortal, will rejoice in the long life after he has pondered over the nature of the pleasures. Here it is being told that once we approach, see, the teacher is only a physical expression of the teacher within. Okay? So if we have come face to face with the teacher within or the teacher without, will there any desire be left? When the teacher called death is there, will there be any desire left if we have lived a proper life? We are in front of it's like a person going to a great realized master and saying he is a, what do you call, a clerk in a company. I don't know if you know what clerk, peon or a clerk, that's a very low post. And he goes to the Prime Minister of the country, Education Minister of the country, or Employment Minister of the country. or the CEO of that company. And the CEO of the company says, and he gains entry into his room, and he is standing in his presence, and the CEO is also very happy with his work. He says, ask me what you want. What will he ask? What should he ask? He asks, please make me the head clerk. Make me the head clerk. Waste of opportunity. No, please, I am getting only 500 rupees a week salary. Can you please increase it to 550? Why? He is holding back. He doesn't want to ask too much, but he wants to ask. Pathetic. Or from clerk to head clerk. He should have said, I want your seat. I want your seat. You told me. And if he is if his word, he lives up to his words, he'll say, okay, take it, but I can give it to you only for 1 hour. There is a story about this also, where a king, without discrimination, offered that, ask whatever you want. The sage said, I want your throne. And that great king, he was well educated. In the scriptures, he says, yes, please take it. After having taken it, I think, and then he says, now what? He says, after some time, now you do this, now you do that, now you do this. Then he says, now you come and sit here. No, it is yours. He says, of course it is mine. Because I am giving it to you, it has not become yours. I am appointing you as a caretaker of this throne now. So the king, remember, the kingdom is mine. You are only functioning as a caretaker of this kingdom now. So a servant always works with alertness. So you take care now. Now you think, whenever you make any decisions, whenever you have to put taxes up, you have to think, what will the sage think like, who is the real owner of this kingdom? And then you do it. So here, the Nachiketa is, having approached the Lord of Death, he has renounced all desires for the flesh, he has renounced all the desires for the enjoyments, he has renounced all the desires of name and fame, and it is true in our life also. And if you recognize, the earlier the better, that our growth within is directly proportional to when we attach ourselves to the divine, to that intensity with which we attach to the divine, to directly proportional to that, we are detached to the world. As much as we walk into the light, that much we are walking out of darkness, isn't it? As much as we are walking away from the water, walking towards the shore from the sea after the swim, that much we are moving away from the waters of the sea, isn't it? So same way, the more we move towards the divine core within, to that extent we are moving away, getting detached to the sensuous world outside, which is ridden with desires. And this is directly proportional. If your intensity is 20%, then it will be 20% withdrawn. If it is 50%, you will be withdrawn from the world 50%. If you are 100% thinking, eating, drinking, sleeping, walking, no moment goes without thinking about, I want to know who am I. If that is the frame of within, then 100% detachment to the world will also happen. So in this manner, the Nachiketa wants to know, the knower, wants to know the self, the truth as to what happens after death from the Lord of Death. And this in the last verse of the first part of the first chapter. Yasmin nidam vichikitsanti mrityo yat samparaye mahati bruhinastata yoyam varo gudhamanupravishto nanyam tasman nachiketa vrunite. O death, O Lord Death, O teacher, tell us that in which men have this doubt and which is about the great passing beyond, that is supreme life after death. Nachiketa does not choose any other boon but that concerning the soul of which the knowledge is hidden and mysterious. Iti Kathopanishad Nishadi Prathamadhyaye Prathamavalli. So here we see the qualifications of a student that is asking this question. And what is the sadhana chatushtaya? It is fourfold. First is the dispassion, Vairagya, Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti and Mukukshitvam. Vivek is discrimination. Discrimination between the truth and the untruth. This must be there continuously. And if it is coupled with detachment to the world, dispassion to the world, the discrimination, the first step becomes even more refined. The more refined it becomes, the more dispassionate you become. The more dispassionate you become, the more refined the discrimination becomes, until a point comes where there is nothing to renounce anymore. Second, so first and second covered. Third is Shatka Sampatti. Shatka Sampatti is Shama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhan. 6 steps. First is control of the senses, Shama. Shama is control of the mind. Dama is control of the senses. Uparama is a stage just like Pratyahara, where the mind of its own accord is not leaking out, but here it is that even if the stimuli from outside are coming and disturbing stimuli are coming, the mind doesn't get agitated. It remains in a poise. Uparama, Titiksha, the ability to endure, to persevere through the opposites that the life is throwing at us. Comfort, discomfort, hunger, thirst, joys and sorrows, and praise and insult. Life is continuously throwing something or the other. So, the ability not to complain but to move through that without agitation in the mind, that is Titiksha. Then comes faith. Faith in our ability that we have already told, faith in the Lord, faith in the scriptures, faith in the teacher, and faith in our ability. When we practice the previous 4 steps, that is control of senses, control of mind, Uparama, the mind not getting disturbed by the world, and the perseverance when faced with the opposites, when we do all these with faith, what results is samadhan, contentment in life. And that is a very, very necessary prerequisite in order to know the truth. You should be content where you are. You are not hankering after more and more and more and more. And last but not the least is mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam is an intense desire to know the truth. An intense desire to be liberated. These are the 4-fold qualifications of a true seeker. Now, you increase the capacity of each one of these, and if any of the previous three, discrimination, dispassion, and these sixfold qualities, if they are absent, it's okay. If you have an intense desire to liberate, automatically the previous three will come into your life. But don't make a choice of giving them up. Don't. But never renounce mumukshutvam, never renounce the desire to liberate. And with this, we see, with the third boon, we see that the Nachiketa wants to know the meaning of the great passing beyond. Lord Death tests Nachiketa. The seeker insists to know and rejects all other substitute gifts, and this is possible because he had practiced these fourfold qualifications and made himself sharp and perfect. Now, what is the answer to the question, is there life after death? What happens to the soul after death? That will begin in the second section of the first chapter. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.